Fast cut montage of scenes. Jim blocking Dwight. Michael screaming at Toby's return. Michael passed out from a sugar crash. And the "there has been a murder" scene. High energy cinematic background music kicks in. We've all watched The Office. Probably 2, 3, or if you're like me, maybe 50 times. It's the ultimate comfort show. But have you ever stepped back and realized just how absolutely insane the daily operations of Dunder Mifflin Scranton actually were? Cut to B-roll of Scranton or direct camera. Today, we are diving deep into the pure, unadulterated chaos that kept this mid-level paper company alive. From corporate espionage and framing HR reps with caprese salads to life-saving appendix tackles and severe sugar crashes. Grab your favorite pretzel, because we are breaking down the wildest moments that proved Dunder Mifflin wasn't a workplace. It was a psychological experiment. Chapter 1. The Ultimate Frenemies. Title card, Chapter 1. Unstoppability. Clip of Jim frantically trying to stop Dwight from going to the Sabre Store meeting in Florida. Voiceover. Let's start with the greatest love-hate relationship in television history, Jim Halpert and Dwight Schrute. Normally, Jim spends his energy putting staplers in Jell-O or convincing Dwight it's Friday when it's Thursday. But in Season 8, during the Florida arc, the dynamic flips in a beautiful, chaotic way. Clip of Jim explaining to Dwight that Robert California is going to veto the store and fire him. Jim finds out that the eccentric CEO Robert California is setting Dwight up to be the fall guy. Dwight is about to get fired. Now, Jim could just sit back and watch his rival fall. Instead, he chooses violence. Well, comedic violence. Show the clip where Dwight thinks Jim is pranking him, mentions Amish return sticks, and tries to run through Jim. Then the hilarious sequence of Jim tackling Dwight, Dwight hitting Jim's fresh appendix wound, and the absolute floor brawl. Dwight's toxic trait is his absolute unstoppability. He literally tells Jim that Dunder Mifflin and his farm vanish in his rearview mirror because he has a date with destiny, but Jim tackles him to the ground, enduring actual physical pain just to save Dwight's career. It's a perfect example of how, underneath all the pranks, Jim actually cared, even if it meant getting dry-mouthed saliva all over his hands because Dwight was thinking about pie. Chapter 2. The Tragedy of Toby and the Caprese Salad Frame Job. Title card, Chapter 2. I Have Cause. It is because I hate him. Zoom in on Michael Scott's face, looking utterly defeated and angry. Transition to Toby Flenderson walking back into the office. If there is one thing that can turn Michael Scott from a lovable, goofy boss into a cold-blooded criminal mastermind, it's the existence of Toby Flenderson. When Toby returns from his short-lived retirement in Costa Rica, Michael genuinely loses his mind. He texts David Wallace 911 in all caps, and when David says he can't fire Toby without cause, Michael drops the iconic line, I have cause. It is because I hate him. Show Dwight offering to be the bait because men find him desirable in his mustard shirt, split screen, with a confused Michael face. Since Michael can't fire him legally, he decides to frame Toby. And who does he enlist? His loyal right-hand man, Dwight. They decide to buy illegal drugs, except they're white-collar paper salesmen who have no idea how illegal drug trades work. They buy 2 pounds of weed from the warehouse guys for $500. Show the police searching Toby's desk. Toby looks confused. Michael is grinning like a supervillain until the reveal. The police arrive, open Toby's drawer, and what do they find? A salad. Specifically, a caprese salad with basil dressing and a little bit of mozzarella. Michael paid $500 for a side dish from a local deli. The sheer embarrassment of Michael trying to claim, since when is it illegal to put caprese salad anywhere? While the cops walk out is peak the office. It shows the lengths Michael would go to just to rid his life of Toby. Chapter 3. Pretzel Day and the Sugar-Fueled Productivity. Title card, Chapter 3. The Works. Show Stanley's legendary monologue about waking up in a bed too small, driving a car too expensive, but loving pretzel day. But life in the office wasn't always about corporate warfare. Sometimes it was about survival. And nothing brought the office together like one magical day of the year, pretzel day. Show Michael standing in the line, rejecting Pam's request to do actual work. Michael Scott is a man of culture. When the pretzel vendor lists 18 different sweet toppings, including chocolate, fudge, caramel, marshmallows, and cotton candy bits, Michael doesn't choose. He asks for the works. He consumes a monstrous, calorie-dense sugar bomb. Fast-forward editing of Michael, screaming at the office, restructuring the layout, hyping up the staff, talking at 200 miles per hour. What follows is a textbook definition of a severe sugar rush. For about 45 minutes, Michael is the most productive, hyperactive CEO on the planet. He's streamlining efficiency, changing desk layouts, screaming, "Are you with me?" And then, the crash. Show Michael passed out at his desk, snoring softly, while Phyllis tells the camera he threw up or pooped. The duality of Michael Scott. From a corporate warrior to completely comatose in a matter of hours. This is the heartbeat of Scranton. Chapter 4. A Murder in Savannah. Title card, Chapter 4. There has been a murder. Show the grim news clips or characters whispering about Dunder Mifflin going bankrupt. Then snap to Michael in his southern outfit. But let's look at the deeper side of Michael's madness. In Season 6, the company is facing literal bankruptcy. Everyone is terrified of losing their jobs. The tension is palpable. So, how does a great leader handle a corporate crisis? By forcing his employees to play a Southern murder mystery parlor game, of course. Clips of the characters playing their roles. Andy as Nathaniel, Erin as Naughty Nellie, Pam as debutante. Michael completely checks out of reality and introduces the office to bells, bourbons, and bullets. While Jim is trying to get actual updates from corporate, Michael is screaming in a thick, molasses-dripping Savannah accent about Naughty Nellie Nutmeg and Bill Bourbon. What's hilarious here is how the game actually bleeds into reality. Andy tries to ask Erin out on a real date, but because they are trapped in their characters, it ends up in this tragic, awkward miscommunication, where Andy has to pretend it was all just part of the game. Show a side-by-side comparison of Jim looking stressed and Michael deeply invested in the game. Jim thinks Michael is being irresponsible, but later we realize this was Michael's coping mechanism and his way of keeping the staff from panicking. It's the brilliant writing of The Office, where absolute buffoonery actually serves a psychological purpose. Conclusion and outro bring the focus back to direct camera or transition to a montage of heartwarming Dunder Mifflin moments, like Michael hugging Dwight. When you look at all these pieces together, Dwight taking a bullet for Michael by driving to New York, Michael going to fetch Dwight back from his retail job because he misses him, or the team playing a murder mystery game while the ship sinks, you realize something. Dunder Mifflin Scranton shouldn't have worked. On paper, it's a dysfunctional HR nightmare that should have gone bankrupt in Season 1. But it worked because beneath the chaos, these people became a weird, deeply flawed family. End screen appears with subscribe button, next video recommendation, and social media handles. What is your absolute favorite chaotic moment from The Office? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite shows, and as Michael Scott would say, celebrate yourselves. See you in the next one.